Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Grim Dawn. We are playing with a Drain Essence Death Knight on hardcore elite difficulty. And last episode we had an encounter with Graval and barely made it out alive. This episode the plan is to wrap up most of the quests in the Ectoplasm and Barrowholm areas. Actually, I probably should have gone to the right rather than down. So in between episodes I had a bit of a chat with the fine folks in Barrowholm. They're totally not creepy and totally not a Wendigo cultist people. No, totally fine, totally normal. We're gonna help them out. Ooh, can I actually knock this one down? Funny. And then after we've helped them out, we can go back to our friends at the Coven. They will then allow me to progress the quest line and hand in a lot of quests I've technically already completed, since a lot of mobs and NPCs have already been dealt with. I just need to get the quest to actually hand it in. So this is one part. Given that my reputation with Barrowholm is high enough to warrant doing the side quest in the mines here, I'll actually go in the mines and have a bit of a tussle with the boss there. For Bloodsuckers. So I think in normal we skipped it. Corrupted. Yeah, definitely know the whole thing I've been saying about Wendigo so far. They can hurt, they will hurt, they do hurt. This is one of those fights where my life bar was definitely moving quite a lot more than I would prefer my life bar to move. Now the whole thing with the spike damage. Also, there was a corpse here that... well, it dropped a green item. There we go. Come Warhammer of Heavenly Judgment. It's nice and glowy, nice and burning. +1 to all skills and demolitionist. Got kind of signals that it is not for me. So normally you need to go back to Barrowholm, hand in some questies. Tell them hello, and then afterwards they'll send you here. If you already clear things out and then complete the quest chain, you will have the option of saying, well, I've already cleared that place. Though, of course, if you're gonna go here for the quest, then the minimap will tell you exactly what kind of critters to murderize. I'll just have to be thorough. Because no, I won't be keeping count, nor will I see them on the minimap. So, barring that, I'll just murder all of them. Because it was one specific kind of crab, I think, that you needed to take out. The Ectoplasm, spike shell, somethings. Some basilisks. So next episode is most likely gonna be the journey through the void, and Mr. Ulgrim, who I think I'm kind of obliged to pick a fight with him just because he's one of the toughest bosses in the game. Oh, I don't have enough dynamite. Interesting. Well, let's remedy that. Dynamite is relatively easy to make. But, well, having just done the Gravel fight, I'm not entirely looking forward to Ulgrim, since it was, if you remember, it was relatively tough when we did it. back on a veteran. So it's definitely not going to be any easier now. And then we go back to over here. There. Open the chests. Let's see what comes out. Give me something shiny. Oh. Sort of kind of shiny. Not entirely ecstatic with it, but what? I mean, could have been legendary, could have been a blueprint, could have been a legendary blueprint. Speaking of, we found one last time, but I don't think I've remembered to check the level requirement on it. Okay, just taking a small step back here. So if that's a helmet that I could craft, then no, +1 to all skills would be happy, as well as the bonus to armor. I think I murderized it just before it could summon more plants. That's good. So on the way back, we'll just tag the outside. Oh, the places I haven't been yet. I think this was just a dead-end pool. Yep. Ah, the pit creepers. Those were the ones that needed to be murdered. Then they're a relatively uncommon sight down here. And most of the time you do end up doing a full clear just to get all of them. But I guess the requirement for taking out the pit creepers instead of the boss was added to the quest just to ensure that you don't simply rush for the boss, ignore everything. A basilisk. I don't think I've got the basilisk item yet for the Octobox, so for one of the questies. So if one of them would be was so kind to drop it, then I wouldn't object to that. Yaman. Yes, Naxxon Shades. Also 6 levels above me. Standing in the middle of green stuff. Probably not a wise idea. Yeah, definitely not a wise idea. Oh, come on. Leave those green circles at home, please. There you go. Okay, there was that. Not the most exciting of fights. Though, of course, relatively well geared, relatively well powered, and this is not meant to be a epic boss fight of epic proportions. It's just meant to be a side quest. And an optional faction side quest at that, and killing the boss is not even the goal. It's taking out the pit creepers, that is the goal. So no, they couldn't have made it too dangerous. So there's at least one secret in here that's always a little odd. Ooh, look, dynamite. The got a wall here that was, I think, relatively okay, because then there's simply the hidden spoils. Just looting it, that's okay. But somewhere else on this side was also a bit that was more odd. Was this it? No, it wasn't that. Or was it a bit further? It wasn't that bit. I don't know. We'll go back there, see if I can find it. Or maybe it's something that was not meant to be a secret or something, and it just showed up as interactable. Let's see, was it up here? No, just grasping at straws right now. Okay, everybody, get around, get around. There we go. And a moss flinger. Ooh, corpse. This one actually has a bit of a loot on it. So it was something that looked like a mine shaft. Could be that I'm once again just confusing areas. I have a habit of doing that. Though, to be fair, this is not a swampy area, so I should not be too confused by it. Okay, then next. Leaf mains. They're probably going to be kind enough to drop a horn here somewhere. Rot spew, you sound like someone you don't really want to be standing next to. Oh, evidence, all this green goop. And there you go, one leaf main alpha horn. Into the thing you got. Okay, you touch me and then you run away. It's like playing tag, but I win. By virtue of being the last one alive, not necessarily because of not getting tagged by anyone. I mean, if someone tags you and you're dead, do the official rules for the game of tag have a clause for that? How do you settle the game then? Well, I guess in reality there's probably going to be a lot of crying and all kinds of emotional things when that happens, so I guess the game's over at that point, so you don't really need to settle it with rules. Oh, you have a star over your head. You are vampiric. Well, let me just bounce your damage back at you and drain your life and call it a day. And got another blue item, the Older Jacks, which is a two-handed crossbow that has a Shaman Tempest lightning bent to it. Also got some Mage Lord Greaves and, well, the Heavenly Hammer we already saw. So, these are the fine folks we are here to rescue. I mean, just putting people in cages, that's not really a nice thing to do. We are here to liberate. Right, so that is one part done. Then there is the wards that need to be restored. So there we get. Yeah, so we got the Venom Gaze and Leaf Mane. Oh, then there's the moss that is still missing. So we could get some more of those moss golems, that could be helpful. Also, crabs. Let's see, north, east. Was there even a west one? That's east and south, I think. Already got the horn here. This is always a area with quite some walking. I think I'm slowly getting slightly more efficient at it. But still, it's just a lot of walking, and especially if you know some of the quests in advance, then you could prepare for them so you don't need to backtrack as much. There we go. Destroyed ward, we reactivate it. And that's the south one, so then if we walk up a bit, the north one should be near. Ooh, look at that, Wendigo. And there on the minimap you already see it. We're really close. More basilisks. I think I failed in my failed a little bit in my duty by not killing enough of the moss flingers. So in my defense, those things are pretty darn sturdy. So they just take a while to kill, and I haven't seen too many of them. Okay, let's tell Scorf Actinor and his band of merrymen the good news. So there's some Barrowholm reputation. Good. What is it? Thank you. I think I just got quest credit.
A blessed welcome.
What is Fox doing? Okay. I think I just handed in 3 questies. You.
I am so pleased that we could come to an understanding.
Anything else I can do to help? What's the problem? I will deal with Laria. So we now have a quest to go for Laria. Also we got a bit of a Uchtembog fetish. I guess with all the time I've spent traipsing around the place, you could call it a bit of a fetish. I mean, don't go running through the swamp for your good fun, I would say.
You've returned. You chose to negotiate with the thieves.
Here's the stuff. What do we do?
The altar of Ratosh is a rare place in Cairn where...
Okay. Into the jaws of madness. So that's the follow-up for the main quest line. That's the Orgrim's frying pan back. Like that. So next up is doing something with this, I think. What do you want?
The Ugdembog fetish was stolen from us. Our wards have weakened, and some of our protective spells have even failed us. To put it simply...
Oh, it's just the third one was a simple Uchtembloom. That's the currency.
Yes,
Will these suffice? Well, go on. Go on. I've already killed the big plant thing that you wanted me to kill.
Perhaps in time new plant life will sprout from her remains. That brings a
and then now she forwards me to the next quest giver, Matron Malostria.
Goradia speaks of your...
Let's find out. How can I help? Ooh, Janaxia. Cool. So, current quest. Kill 2 witches. Well, actually, Janaxia was somewhere over there. The other one... Was that there? No, wait, not there. Was a little further to the north. So, but we can walk the first one. Janaxia the Betrayer. So the thing is, for the wards I'll have to backtrack through here again. And then just repair them, but they don't trust me enough for that just yet. Even though, see, clearly evil ward, it's there. Also, this also looks rather happy in the very suspicious, just like in Barrowholm kind of situation. In the middle, overshot it by a little bit. So backtrack a little bit, and then we go again to the right. Kill the evil witch, but first, plunder the corpse. Janaxia. Hello. Hey, welcome in committee. Join us, they say. Not yet, is my very heroic answer, of course. Death must wait a little while, for I have a mighty quest. I don't know, I don't think the hero in the story here is very self-righteous, no as in lawful stupid paladin kind of situations. Level 61. More like a accidental hero. Also, stop putting hexes underneath my feet. Thank you very much. Yeah, like that. So, a lot of blood spilling out all over the place. Not a big fan. I'd rather be the one doing the spilling rather than the one getting spilled. Did get 2 blue items for the trouble, which is good. And of course, lair like this, always make sure to check for corpses. and other things that could contain loot. As I said, no, we're not a paladin, we're not lawful goods, we don't have any sense of honor or duty or any of those other things. We're just here to survive, get the world back so we could just continue our lives. And look, loot. I think that's always a very good motivation. It's very... Was it there? Could be there. Yeah. Laria. I remember it. We were there just a while ago. But of course, we couldn't do anything because we didn't have the quest yet. That's how it works. Getting bombarded by plant artillery. So, let's go indoors and shrug that off. So if you kill the witch as asked, then of course the other witches are not going to be happy about it.
I don't know who you are, but
so
please
that's not what I'm going to do. Just going to warn you, they wanted me to murder you, but I cannot. Stay safe. Well, and we got a Wendigo spirit here, so that ties in with the other Wendigo area. Or the Wendigo spirit dude something. That of course wants you to hand a Wendigo spirit to it. But we already solved that one, so we don't need it anymore.
Is it fit? It appears good.
Anything else? What must I do? I will restore the wards, which is the least interesting out of all of these quests. There's a reason that the Barrowholm folks let me do that one first in addition to other ones, because just walking up and down to the wards, not all that exciting. Giant's blood leveling up, that is nice. That's a bit of a better heal when I need it in those panicky situations. Yes, that's it. These golems, they have a lot of life. They probably have a decent chunk of resistances as well. Okay, there's one ward here. Always forget if this is the south or east one. Or the north or the east one, because the western one is next to the waypoint. Which is why it's convenient. Oh, so stop running you. So it's convenient to head into the swamp first, then backtrack. Okay, that was east. Then we have to head up a little bit to the top side of the Uktenborg. Well, to the left top side. It's a little convoluted that way. I mean, it's all, they're meant to protect the town, so they can't be too far from town, of course. And then we have you. Of course, you're gonna be running away because you're scared. Scared little Wendigo kitty. And then you hit me and then you run away again. Yeah, those fear boots, they can be helpful. Situations like these where the enemy is purple and thus has a lot of health might not be too helpful. Upside, we did cleanse this, so we can just go back. And then next to the waypoint, we have the final ward. Also, Spirit can't really run too far here, which is an upside. Just rip its spirit out. Good, good. There we go. And then once again we walk through town. Nice that you can use those dummies as a blitz target. How can I help? Hey.
Will reactivate our wards and seal off the
I will protect you. Okay. Begin the ritual. Oh, planting. Don't think I've done this one too often, but it resembles the Order of Death's Vigil ritual quite a bit. Just now use Warcry to taunt things. Say hello to the Void Touched and Storm Slither, and that's it. Okay. Enemy heroes killed. Is that it? No, that's not it. There's more. There's always more. Stone Basilisk. It's purple. Doesn't even have a name.
That skill's not ready.
But yeah, just rip out its spirit. Energy is draining rather rapidly here. But I think we can kill it before my energy is gone. And this is probably it. Ooh, got a blueprint. Which reminds me, there was a legendary blueprint helmet I needed to double check.
Praise the three. The ritual was a success.
Celestial Stone of Halakor.
Treating you so harsh.
Heavy Ordnance, Storm Totem and
I
Stormbox.
prefer a healthy measure of
Interesting.
skepticism of those who wander it.
Okay, that's it, I think. That's the Uktenborg questline. Also, by now we have actually acquired Revered Reputation. So that means blueprints. Oh, also level up. Yeah. What was I leveling? Yes. Siphon Souls. I want to get this one to 12. After 12, the area stops expanding or it expands less efficiently, so I'm just gonna keep it cut at 12. Whenever I gain bonuses to skill points, I'll just unspec to actually keep it at 12. Some skills really benefit from just keeping it max, and some benefit from actually just pushing the level as far as you can. This seems to be one of those that is just good enough at the max level. So, boatload of items were obtained. Faction Vendor.
Like?
What did I do? Yeah. So, the next tier. As I said, boatload of blueprints. Yeah, so let's do it like that. 40,000 for each, so that is 240,000 for 6 blueprints. Also a bunch of augments that are going to require level 90 to use, so I'm going to hold off on buying those for now since there's no point in it. And all the items here as well, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6.
See you around.
So we got blueprint for Witch Moon, a one-handed axe that grants a bonus to all skills in Soldier and has a cold and piercing theme. And it also has bonuses to Rune of Hagarat and Ring of Steel. So there's a Soldier, Nightblade and Inquisitor overlap here. Next up, Blaze Rush. A two-handed mace, Upheaval, Grenado, Shattering Blast, and +2 to all skills in Shaman. So that seems like a Shaman Inquisitor? Demolitionist? Definitely not my kind of item here. Oh. Hex Launcher. Legendary one-handed ranged. That's a little bit of downside. I mean, it's a pistol, so that means I could not use my Blitz in combination with this, because I think for Blitz you do need a melee weapon. Yep, actually it says that you need a melee weapon, because you're slamming into things, but you also need melee. If I were to get this one though, +2 to Drain Essence, 923 Aether damage added to Drain Essence. That's quite a lot. That's quite a damage upgrade. And 40% of Vitality damage converted to Aether to Drain Essence. So Drain Essence would once again shift to Aether damage rather than Vitality damage. This seems quite potent. Additional skills, +1 to all skills in Arcanist and +2 to Fabric of Reality. So actually for a for Necromancer Arcanist it makes sense since they share Ether, but they don't share Vitality as a common damage type. So that's nice to have learned. It's all level 94, so it's all not relevant for right now, but eventually in a good 18 levels, maybe something. One-handed dagger. That is Arcanist, Hellfire Mines, and Ether Ray, so that is Demolitionist Arcanist. It's the Pyromancer, I think. And bonuses to Ether Ray and Thermite Mine. Etherbolt Pendants, level 90, Amulets. Bonuses to maximum elemental resist, as well as elemental resist, as well as chaos resist. And skill bonuses to Stormbox of Elgoloth, Ether Ray, and Lightning Tether. So that's Inquisitor with some Arcanist overlap. And lastly, a medal, Mark of Lethal Intents, which gives a bonus to Dreek's Evil Eye, Grasping Vines, and Lethal Assault. So that's again, that's Nightblade for the Lethal Assault, I think. And then the Grasping Vines, Shaman, and Dreek's Evil Eye is Occultist. And no +1 to all skills, funny enough. Okay, well, unlocked quite some things. Also, we got a Master's Spellblade, a one-handed dagger, which reduces resist, grants some energy, and then a bunch of random stats. And the Stone of Halakor.
Got something
Still got some visiting to do at the people says in Barrowholm. But let's quickly scan through what I've got here. Is there anything else that is worth picking up? Also, we still need to go to the blacksmith to have a look at what the helmet was that I picked up last time. Is it something that could potentially be useful, or is it something that's completely not going to be helpful? Also, keep in mind, after you activate the wards, Coven ward is going to be a bonus that's going to be active in town, which is thematically it's okay, but it's actually incredibly annoying if you're upgrading your gear, since well, it will add to your resist, to some of your resist. So I think it's Vitality and Aether. But then of course, if you leave town, your resists drop. So if you're just using your screen here to balance your resists, it could be that you're actually messing up your character because of that thematically accurate but totally useless ward. So do be aware and careful of that. But yeah, the big swamp is might have noticed, it's my least favorite part of the expansion content. Simply because the flow is just very awkward. So from a progression and gameplay perspective, it's, I don't know, it doesn't flow nice. Whereas Malmouth is actually pretty well set up.
Have you dealt with that pest yet?
So we will lie and
The
then
Ravager's return will soon
it's
be
good.
upon us, and the Wendigo's
We continue.
hunger shall be
Oh yeah, we have to get the hearts and we have to kill 3 Wendigos for him. And then we of course summon the Wendigo spirits. I think we did that in the previous difficulty as well. And if I remember correctly, they were in the large area down here. I think so. Then again, that could be a random spawn. Hope they're not a random spawn, because that would be a bit awful. Okay, there's a star there. I think we're in the good place. Hello, Olivios. Yeah, Olivios. Well, this one is going down without too much of a fuss. For that, I am thankful. I think last time I did it, some of the other ones were in the same place. Could very well be possible. But I think they were in the larger areas. But again, it's yet another quest that tells you to know that that really large area there. Yeah, go through it again, because reasons. Oh, hello, Bloodthirsty Bloom. I guess maybe I've just gotten too used to being relatively efficient about the base game, knowing where most of the things are, knowing the good flows to tackle most of the content, that this content not really having a flow like that just rubs me the wrong way. But I'll be happy once we get back to Malmouth, because that's a fun place, especially once we got the base up and going. It's a large-ish area over there. There is the second one, Juveloth. So far so good. Maybe I should step out of the fire. Never quite know if it's my fire or his fire, but I don't know. I don't think I cast fire for tornadoes, so let's err on the side of it's probably not my fire. Okay, so this one it is not. So we had a fight here, we had a fight there. Then it is very likely that we'll have a fight somewhere near the start. No, this was the third one, the other one was the second one. That would put an argument in favor of actually having a fight somewhere near the top as well, close to Barrowholm. Just gonna cross this one diagonally. And I think my reasoning is backed up by observations. So let's go to the Barrowholm waypoint and then walk back. So I'm very happy I'm doing all of this swamp business in one single go, rather than doing a little bit and then hitting a faction point and then going back and then unlocking another quest and having to go back again, because then you could end up clearing this swamp one or two times too many. Let's see. This is where we rescued the peopleses. Yeah, let's just cut through here. Okay. Those are lucky duckies. But yeah. Nearly done with this one. But I definitely hope that the Forgotten Gods will have a better flow in terms of just the quest progression, area progression, backtracking for quests, things like that. Come on. If I were a Wendigo, where would I hide? Probably the Wendigo is hiding in exactly the different spots where I would hide, just to confuse me. But hey, it's a potentially helpful exercise. It also works for lost keys. Now, if I were keys, where would I hide? Just get into the mind of your keys. And then probably still wouldn't find them, but because keys don't have a mind. No, just spoiling that one. Would be very, very silly if keys did have a mind. Okay, so we went there. So check the right hand side. So I guess one argument for doing this not on your first time, not in a single go, but actually doing this in 2 stages, is that for the search, you'll have the Fog of War again, so you will know where you have and have not yet been on your current run through. occur. Especially now, since it's difficult to see where I have and have not yet been. Whereas now, if in this case, now if I had done this once over, then I would know exactly where I still had to go in order to double check if the Wendigos were there. Okay. Almost inclined to just leave those folks hanging and just give up on the quest. Because at this point, definitely the point where I'm having fun is kind of a little bit in the past, so to say. And it just becomes a tedious chore rather than something enjoyable. Which, no, especially for game designers, that's a tricky balance to strike, I think. Between not making a quest challenging and preventing it from just becoming stale, tedious, boring. Especially if you add in multiple repetitions over different characters or different difficulties. You do the same quest over and over and over again, so at some point the novelty is gonna wear off. The oh this is really cool, oh this is really unique, this is a very new thing is gonna wear off. And then no, the real value of a quest is not in the first time that you do it. I think it's better if a quest is still interesting by the 20th time that you do it. Then you can build yourself a pretty good quest. But if after 3 times you already start looking for ways to take shortcuts or to skip it or to just game the mechanics, so to say, then there might be some issues with the quests. If after 10 times you just want to stab your eyeballs out with a blunt object, then the game developers probably failed in something with that quest. Well, at least we get one over the overlooked things here to relieve me of the tedium of looking for things. Okay, so we've been there already, that can't be it. On the other hand, things are spawned, but yeah, they were part of the area. Yeah, actually that's the town. Handeroff. Oh. Go back to the Gloom World, they say. Don't say it here. No, it's only in the quest description that, of course, you skip. Ugh. Luckily, the Gloom World is not too terribly large, right? Right. At least this is a bit of a variety. A little bit of a relief from the tedium of looking at swamps. Instead, we have a creepy forest. But yeah, they did mention that they will have an alternate game mode.
Can't do that yet.
I'm very curious to see what they've done with that and how that's gonna fit into the progressions, especially if it's an alternative progression mode that is not as mind-numbingly boring as the Crucible turns into in the end. Because I don't like grindiness, and there's not enough variety in the Crucible, at least for my personal taste. So that doesn't really work for me. But if it's no better game mode for alternate progression, then that would be nice, because then you can actually just spice things up a little bit by alternating between the campaign and the alternate progression, and of course the Forgotten Gods content as well. Okay. everybody. Still have to go to the blacksmith. That's something I do have to keep reminding myself of, because my memory is like a sieve. If I don't remember it, then it will just fall out and I'll forget. Okay, a lot of little crabs here. Ghostly crabs. Is there a boss crab in here? Because that's often the case when you get beset by crabs on all sides. Something possibly this way comes. But I think this way. Or this time we've been spared a crab boss. Already fought the granddaddy of crabs, of course. Let's have a little bit of a foray outside of the roads. If I were a Wendigo spirit, I would probably hide in the woods, not on the road. But again, I have very little experience being a Wendigo spirit, so it's very difficult to make a very accurate statement of exactly what a Wendigo spirit would or would not do. So, all the plants you wanted to see, and then even more. Just mostly relying on the minimap to just outline a quest objective and then hone in on it. Other than that, just walking through, killing random things, having a jolly good time. But yeah, still an interesting combination. I mean, as I said, I'm relatively allergic to really grindy, really repetitive gameplay. I mean, farming areas over and over and over again is something, for example, that I really have very poor patience with. But yes, I do like action RPGs as a genre. It's not one of my favorite genres. And the reason for that is the other part of the genre. That is just the sheer amount of creativity that you can put into your builds. And especially if you combine it with hardcore and more of a solo self-found approach to things, going for odd, quirky builds, things like that. You can just do so many creative things in a game like this. And then if you just ignore all the things that require farming, then oftentimes a lot of interesting gameplay remains, and you can still have a lot of fun with that. Look at that. A very nice large treasure box. And a poison boom. Okay. Oi, stop trying to hit me. Ooh, hello. Tolia Split Tongue. You are no more. Oh, actually I got multiple factions to revered now. How are my enemies doing? Is anyone actually being close to Nemesis? Oh, the beasts. So that's hated, so the ethereals are about a quarter of the way there. And the undead are coming, and the vanguard, of course, also. Okay. So I'll keep this one for last. Let's check out the remainder of the area. So as you know, there's quite some largish areas here. And from here it's easy to go to the waypoint and then head east. So now in terms of logistics and traveling, that is relatively easy as well. Ooh, look at that. Another treasure trove. Let's blow that one open and see what treasures come out. Ooh, we got ourselves a brutal carver blueprint. So what's a brutal carver do? It is a green two-handed axe with a chance of doing more physical damage as well as bonus to bleeding damage. A little boring, but I guess as a leveling weapon it might be helpful. I mean, you still get bonus stats on top of it, or random stats on top of it, of course. But yeah, I know. I've been spoiled by mythical, legendary items and things like that. So items that don't have all kinds of fancy procs and mods and skill modifiers. No, they just look so plain, so boring. But every once in a while, no, you just gotta make one of those items. Because it's the best option that you have available to you at that time. I must say, most of the time you can actually rely on the drops. So your average power level will be a little bit higher if you probably craft a little bit more actively just to keep all of your gear up to date, rather than accepting that some of your gear might be 10 levels outdated. Or more. I mean, this one requires... I think this one required level 40 without the augment in it. Okay, so I'm gonna give up that the Wendigo is here, so we take the next waypoint and then we clear out the last little bit over here, since there is some Gloomwald remaining. It's also, these spirits, they don't show until they got summoned by the quest. So you can't even pre-kill them either, because I totally would have done that if I had come through here. Okay, let's just double check this side. And this is mostly the road. This one probably has some larger areas. Okay. So there is a road there. Here it's again handy that this is actually a second session, since I've already been in all those places. You can see the shaded bits where I haven't been. So just gonna try and stick through the bottom side of the area, and then we can just backtrack via the road to the top there. But I think there might be some open areas here that have a chance of having that Wendigo. Pakla, the turning. You are not on the list, but I'll kill you anyway. You look a little angry. I'll just shout in your face real hard. See, you look impressed. Thank you for your Wendigo spirits. Here, Wendigo, Wendigo, Wendigo. Here, Handerov. Where are you? Okay. Well, upside is I do get a nearly full cleared map of the area. I mean, I wouldn't have got that without the quest. Also, I wouldn't have had an episode that would last nearly an hour without that quest. But hey, there's also two ways of looking at that. Some folks really enjoy longer episodes. Some folks not quite. To the last group, I do apologize for that. Quest made me do it. Blame the Wendigos. They were hiding. Not me. I was here all the time. Folks that enjoy the longer episodes, I do hope that this is good. Started off a little bit grumbly, of course, about the whole thing taking so long. But I think in the end, I did talk about some other things than besides the grumbling. So I think that balances things out. That's one of the upsides, of course, of the gameplay. No, just going back through areas, killing things again, looking for specific monsters. No, it's not very demanding in terms of gameplay. So, of course, that leaves you with a bit more time and opportunity to just talk about random things. Ooh, look at that, it just. Also, What exploded behind me? Ah, a golem. Here, I'll rip your spirit out. Like that, yeah. Okay. And still there is one that wants more. Okay, Barrowholm, the time warped. It's indeed, in this craziness, this is always the most dangerous. If you can't really see all the enemies that are there, it might be that an arcane one sneaks in. And if it strips your auras, then you're gonna notice, especially on this build. Because those auras, they provide a good quarter of our health, as well as most of the oh panic, this will save your life procs. So yeah, arcane, it's deadly. I'll probably say that one a couple more times, because it really is an important lesson to learn. Hey, look at that, what are you? Chaos Shell, the Void Touched. Okay, lots of little ones. And what does a Void Touched Chaos Shell do? It shoots a jet of water. Yes, really. Okay. Slowly getting to the point where I'm afraid I have explored most of the areas of the Gloom Vault as well. So that really does not leave a lot of places for the Wendigo to be hiding. So where is that little monster hiding itself? Good. So this place has mostly been cleared. There's actually a little bit here in this area. So we can portal there. Yeah, instructed to, because it's the Handerhof that we still need. Yeah, it just says set out into Uchthenborg and Gloomwald for those three. It doesn't get much more specific than that. Ooh, look at that, ornate strongbox. Well, upside of course is lots of things to murderize, and therefore lots of loot to pick up. Yeah, last tab here is even filling up. And of course, once I empty my pockets, there's probably going to be quite some extra iron bits to compensate for all the blueprints I just bought. Because I did go on quite a shopping spree there. Ooh, look at that. A little star on the bottom of the minimap. So it is literally going to be the last place I could possibly look for it where the Wendigo was hiding. Yeah. It's going to go down. This one is personal now. You, Handerhof, are gonna be murderized. So I think something... a vampiric, okay. A vampiric I can deal with. I'll just rip your spirit out multiple times. Casually, without really aiming at it, killing the vampiric one that was trying to attack me. And then Handerhof goes down. Bloody ashes. We do get 2 blues out of it, so I guess there's an upside there. And then a strongbox. But what have we been getting so far? Spellfire wand, some fire and cold stuff. Solace Gaze, +1 to all skills in Necromancer. Hey. That works for my build. Active skill, Drain Soul. 2.5 second recharge. It does a bazillion points of vitality and ether damage. Yes, that's a technical term. and 12% of that damage is converted to health. So that's a I need life now button. That kind of works. I like it. So should I say that all is forgiven? Because it is a nice item. I'm not gonna argue. It's a nice item. It's a drop-in upgrade. Well, need to shift some elemental resist around, but those are details. It's a nice item. So thank you for that, Handelt. You definitely made the hunt worth it in the end. In the end, mind you. And then let's chat with the Wendigo people. And then I still want to check out that blueprint. That's gonna be the very last thing this episode. Hello.
The stench of rotting hearts
Is
follows
that
you outside.
Glorious Body? Yes, here are your
He
hearts.
should satisfy Ravager's hunger for a time once he is reborn.
Ooh, Relic, Dirge of Arcovia. +1 to all skills and Necromancer on a Relic. And it summons a skeletal servant. Skills with pet bonuses. This is not a pet build, so that's kind of wasted. A pet Necromancer would enjoy this one. Also, 35% chance of 1 second of Terrify Retaliation. We've got 100% on the boots. It's a success. Well, sort of kind of a success, because it's not always something I desire. On a pet build, you're gonna have much less resilience than this build. So it's actually a nice thing there. And of course a tonic of reshaping, which is an attribute respec. So kind of nice.
It is Ravager.
Hey, I think I had to pick who's gonna die, so sure, I'm gonna pick. Who's gonna die? I've decided. The first one. Yes. Bring forth the Ravager. Vile Blood Mantle is mine. And that gets me a shoulders with a Vile Blood, 100% chance on critical attack. That does bleeding damage and confusion. And it has a whole bunch of Nightblade-like bonuses. Cool. I'll be going now. Bye. So that's Ravager, alive and well. Could probably fight him, but for now I think we've done quite enough in the creepy forest swamps here. So, assets. We are gonna have a chat with the blueprint people. Says I should probably read my blueprint. And have a quick look at what the other helmets would be, what level specifically.
Got any more scrap metal?
So that is part of defensive stuff, and then it's a helm. Clairvoyance hat, level 68. +1 to all skills, so but that is of course pretty darn good since it also boosts my soldier side. Better than +1 to necro skills. It has a 30% bonus to all damage and a small bonus to ether damage. Small health bonus, decent energy bonus, and energy regen, and a little bit of ether resistance and skill cooldown. We don't really strongly rely on cooldowns. We got a couple of skills that have cooldowns, but it's not like I really strongly care about them. And of course, this one has to be crafted, so it's 135,000 iron bits, and then also a equilibrium, which I think is a low level one. Yeah, so this is 8,000, already have the other materials. So it's 143,000 iron bits, and then the helmet would be mine. It's sort of kind of okay. But this one has a stronger damage bonus. It has more health. It has some defensive ability. It also actually has a little bit less armor. Sure. Also a little bit less energy regen, but on the other hand, it's here. 27% poison resist versus 15 ether, so it has slightly more resist. And this one doesn't have an active ability, this one does though. The question is, am I gonna use it? No, I already got a relatively full bar. On the other hand, get another attack that just does some healing. It could be nice in those panicky situations. Since right now it's 4.5 to 11,000 points of damage. Or, but I say 8.5 to 11,000. So let's say average 10,000. 12% of that, that's 1,200 points of life that you can just leech with a single button press every 2.5 seconds. No, pretty decent thing. Also, it helps enemies die faster, so there's that as well. So I think rather than spending a lot of effort, I'll just settle for what I have, and we now have ourselves an upgrade. So of course you put this one in, and then all the resists are gonna do funky things. Since we have a runestone here with ether and elemental resist, there's a augment with chaos res, and of course we had elemental resist built in. So I'll have to patch around that.
Bring me back any blueprints you find.
Well, it's a long episode, might as well make it even longer. So I want myself a runestone. Runestone needs 3 pieces. For that I need 3 ward stones. So 1, 2, 3. Then I can go to the runestone. 1, 2, 3. Merge it. And apply it. So that solves most of the elemental resist here. Lightning is just 2 points shy of being full. And ether and lightning are now the 2 that are not entirely happy anymore. So before we were fixing the ether via a Mankind's Vigil. I don't think there's an ether and lightning augment that I have, but let's have a look. Since we're now pretty much overcapped on poison, that if I were to have something that actually boosted my poison resist, then of course I could fix that. Ooh, this one, Pierce and Poison. How am I with Pierce? I'm overcapped on Pierce. And I'm overcapped on Poison, so I could replace, for example, the augment in here with something else. So that might be a better one. So we got fire and lightning. Fire is at 6. So that's an option. Yeah, so we have this one. It was for the helmet. So ether is maxed, and then as I said, fire and lightning in the body. And now this one is maxed out as well. And then we have ourselves an upgrade. Then time to sacrifice one of my pre-boss flask slot things for the skill we just got. Where is it? There. Rachel. Okay. Dummies. Gotta see it in action. Okay. That didn't look all that shiny and fancy. It's a very simple one. Of course, all your procs could potentially trigger off of it.
That skill's not ready.
But it's about 10,000 points of damage. That also leeches life, so there's upsides to it. That's all you could say about it. It's just a very simple skill. But having more armor on my helmet, of course, is the upside here. Went from about 300 effective to 2,000 effective. So whenever I get hit in my head, which happens 15% of the times, I take 700 points less damage. That was sort of kind of accurate, right? No, 429 now is... Okay, so I take 600 points more or less damage now if I get hit in my head. That is kind of helpful, especially in boss fights. Or in fights where there's a lot of enemies hitting me. Because, well, the chances, they're all a numbers game. If you get hit a lot of times, then they're gonna be distributed according to the percentages here. Spike damage, it could have more impact, of course, if you get hit in one place where you are weak. So right now, my feet are weak. There is a high level version of the Dreadwalker footpads. Just gotta find it, or I gotta find something that is just better than this. But for now, I think I'm doing pretty well in terms of the upgrades. I've got some more energy out of this as well. That is helpful. Bit more life, nearly 12,000 points. And the defensive ability, 17,500. Also very helpful. A heroic boss, or unique, or whatever you want to call it. Less than 90% chance to hit me. That's very helpful. In reverse, I can still actually... I can crit training dummies. That's not very difficult. Well, that's it. I think this is a very, very, very good point to call at the end of an episode. So for now, I'm gonna thank you very much for watching and hope to see you again next episode. Bye bye.